Welcome to another segment of my YouTube channel. It's such a pleasure to have Sister Andrea Plant. She's a colleague of mine at our church, Community Fellowship Center. And today we will discuss a few inspirational stories. And I hope at the end of this show that you are inspired, and wherever you are, that you will rise up and take your position. Sister Andrea, thank you for agreeing to come on this channel. But before we go any further, could you please introduce yourself to the viewers, please?
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach at Clement Howell High School, and teaching education is my passion, has always been my passion from I know myself. Thank God I found something that I like and enjoy doing. So this is where I am today in Turks and Caicos, practicing my art of teaching.
Wonderful, and thank you for making the Turks and Caicos your second home.
Yes, that it is.
So, Sister Andrea, you are originally from Jamaica.
Yes.
From a large family, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm from a family of 8. My parents with 6 of us as children, 2 boys, 4 girls, and so on. So I wanted to share with you about this because my family it's dear, very, very dear to my heart. I love my family dearly and so on. And I've seen, in the teaching profession, I've seen and felt the heart of parents as it relates to their children, challenges with their children. You see parents want to live their lives through their children, their dreams and so on. It's through the children.
I know exactly yes.
So I wanted to talk about that today and so on. So from a family of 6, my parents were business persons. My mother is a seamstress, my father is a tailor. So they started a business in order to give us a comfortable home and life. But it was extremely challenging with my brothers in terms of school. So the eldest sibling, my brother, he ended up, he's an outspoken, we were reared. We had, as a family, once a month we would have family meetings. We were reared to share, speak your mind, open up, and so on. So in the education system, he brought that there, how we are socialized as a family. We were grown up in our culture not to speak when adults are speaking or to answer back to adults. It's considered to be rude.
Yes.
So he was many times expelled, sometimes not expelled, suspended from school. My parents had to go in many times because he doesn't know how not to share his mind if he disagrees with something.
He speaks his mind.
Yes, he does. And then at the end of his time in high school, he left with one subject, which was technical drawing. My father was furious, beyond mad. My mother was angry, but she said, okay, as a male, she didn't want him to be out there not having something to do, because if you don't give men something to do, they are going to find something to do, and then it is going to create havoc in society. So my father washed his hands, said he's not giving him a second chance. My mother said, okay, I'm going to use my money and I'm going to give him a second chance. So she sat him down, she had a talk with him, she found out what he wanted to do. So he said he wanted to go back to school to get his CXCs. And then after that he wanted to go. He was very good with his hands. As a child, he would be the one who would pull down the television or the radio, fix it back together. So he had a passion, we knew, in that area. So he said he wanted to be an electrical engineer. So she said, okay, what are the subjects you need? He told her. Then she said, how long would that take for you to get those subjects? He said, 2 years. So she said, no, you're doing it in 1 year. And then after that, now, she said to him, when you're finished with the year, what is the next step? He said he wanted to go to college. And she said, okay, fine. She found out which college. And then he took the 1 year, did all his CXC, got into college, and so on. Even before he finished college, he got a job with, back then, this was like the top radio station in Jamaica as an engineer there. like a few weeks, maybe a year or two after he started working there, she met the vice principal from the school that he went to. And the vice principal asked her, you know, how is he? Where is he today? And when she told the vice principal where he was and what he was doing, she broke down in tears.
Wow.
She cried because she didn't know that there was hope based on the challenges.
Based on his results.
Yes, the struggles and so on, how he did poorly in high school. She didn't know that he could make it. So it's just an encouragement for parents. You know, you may have the challenges, but don't give up on them. Continue to, you know, fight and to work through. Today he has his own company where he sets up networks for like communication places. So that is what he does today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what okay, I know your mom gave him a second chance. But what do you think made him to turn around his life? What even though she gave him a chance, but some people, you give them a chance and they still repeat the same thing they did earlier.
Yes, right? yes.
Well, what do you think caused him?
He had goals. He was always that person who was goal oriented. He would write down where he wants to go. A couple of years after, we found by 25 his goals, that he should own a car, he should be married. He had goals. So he had a plan that he was working towards. So the fact that he got that second chance, he didn't waste it. He made use of it because he had a focus, a direction, a purpose in life, which I think this is something that is missing from some of our youth. Having that purpose, that focus, that direction, you know, in terms of life. Yeah, and he was passionate about engineering. He loves it, really loves it. It's a blessing, I think, when you find yourself doing something that you really love to do.
It is a blessing.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many of us on some jobs just for status, and we do not enjoy what we do. We're not even performing to the best of our ability because we don't like it. Some people are performing good, even if they don't like it. But then some will not. Because you don't feel like getting up in the mornings to go to work. You just don't like what you do.
Absolutely.
So it is a pleasure.
Absolutely.
When you can, you know, match your purpose, your passion with your purpose.
Yes. And then my other brother now, who followed him, I think he had learning issues, but back then we didn't know. Like today, you may find your child struggling and you can go get your child tested to see how he or she may be doing. When he was 13, he didn't know how to read his name, write his name. He just couldn't manage academically, but he was very good with his hands. He could see a board and then could see in his mind what to make and could create it. So the struggle with my mother was to get him to read at grade 9. At grade 9, I think you're about 14 years old at grade 9. Didn't know how to read. When I was 6, we were in the same class where my mother had to pull him from school.
So you were 6 and how old was he?
He was at that time about 14.
Oh wow.
Yes. So my mother had to pull him from school because he wasn't learning anything. And then she paid a teacher to tutor us and so on, in terms of reading, you know, and that kind of stuff. And that was how we learned to read. But he was so good with his hands, even though he didn't go beyond secondary school and so on. All of us went to high school. He was the only one who went to secondary school. In Jamaica, secondary school at that time was where children who couldn't do well academically, this is where they would have been placed and so on.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I thought secondary school is high school.
We had, like, for example, here you'd have Clement Howell High, and you'd probably maybe have like a Long Bay Secondary. So Long Bay Secondary would be like from grade 9 up, but yes, but it was like a school that was for students who could not pass the I think it was common entrance, right? So because they couldn't pass, they would go to secondary school because they couldn't pass common entrance in Jamaica. So you had the high schools now separate from the secondary schools. So when you know you go to secondary school, it means that you're not, yes. Yes.
Interesting. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
yeah. So he was the only one who he just couldn't manage academically and so on, couldn't write properly, couldn't read very well. But my mother worked with him with this tutor who helped him to eventually be able to read and write his name. Where she said that we had this thing in Jamaica that if you see your name on bulla, which was a cake, a round cake like bami,
Yes.
you should be able to know that this is your name.
Okay.
So she worked with him where he could do that. When he was ending secondary school, he got a scholarship to go to learn woodwork, to teach it. So he told my mother that, he told her no, he doesn't want the scholarship. Yes,
Really?
Yes, he said he didn't want it because the academic, the theory aspect of it, he just cannot handle it. And she said, okay, fine, what do you want to do? So he said he wanted to learn the trade. So she sent him to one of those workshops where they would make furnitures, and he learned and then started his own business. Owned his own business a couple years after that. Wow. Furnished our home that our parents built. He made everything in it.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, so that is incredible too.
Yes.
You know, because sometimes we give up on those individuals when we see they're not, academically inclined. But I believe that everybody has a gift.
Yes.
Everybody has a purpose.
Yes.
And sometimes we just focus on the academic side.
Yes. And it comes back to what you mentioned, finding that area of passion.
Yes.
What is that child passionate about? And then lead the child or guide that child in that direction of passion, not to impose on the child what you would have hoped to have been and so on, because some parents wanted to be a doctor or a nurse or one of those kind of professions where to them it would make them quote unquote somebody in society.
Yes.
And then they try to impose that to live their dream through that child, not recognizing that. Find out what the child is passionate about and then guide the child in that area of passion.
Your mother seemed to, you're absolutely right, and your mother seemed to play a very, very instrumental part in helping her boys, to go on the path. That's how I designed them to be. So, I mean, at least she didn't give up.
No, she didn't. She didn't.
I think that's important.
She didn't. And then the good thing about it is she believed in sitting, reasoning, understanding, and you understanding yourself what you want out of life, and then now, based on that, to give her support based on the dreams that you have,
That is incredible.
Yes.
And for those of you who are watching, and we have to recognize, if you have not recognized this already, that not all our children will be the same, and our children will not be like us.
Definitely.
There's some parents who are very, very smart when it comes to academics.
Yes.
And sometimes you find that society also places those children under a lot of pressure.
Yes.
They expect the children to be just like their parents. And then sometimes parents are not that very smart academically. And then they want their children to be, because society, there's something about people in society. We tend to look up to people that have certain careers. And we look down on certain careers. Those careers we look down on, they are just as valuable as any other career.
Definitely.
Each, just like our fingers have a purpose, our mouth have a purpose, our nose have a purpose, has a purpose. Each role has a purpose.
Definitely.
And we tend to sometimes feel that one job is more important than another job, and it's not so. It's not so. It's important if you meet your passion. That's as important. But nobody is better than you. Nobody's career is better than you, and I'm so glad
Yes.
that you're sharing
Yes.
these stories about your family.
Yes.
And hopefully
Yes,
influence others.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
not to
Yes.
give up on your children. Don't compare your children to anyone else. And recognize that your children have a purpose in life.
Yes.
They're not.
Yes.
They didn't come into this world just to be there like that. There's a purpose for them. And so your mom recognized that.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
she nurtured them.
Definitely.
Becoming
Definitely.
individuals
Definitely.
that
Yes.
God designed them for.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm grateful for you sharing those
Yes.
stories,
Yes.
Sister Andrea. Are there any other?
Just my last story now,
Yes.
so I need to share mine.
Sure.
So my passion has always been teaching, as I've mentioned to you.
Yes.
So I was the one who, when I was growing up, I would find the trees, I would be teaching the trees, beating the trees. So
You know, I used to do that too. You know.
Really?
I thought I wanted to be a teacher. And so growing up, you know, we had these little trees and you had the neighbors and we play and I act like a teacher.
Yeah.
And you know, we talking to each other and you know.
You sure you didn't miss your calling?
No.
But yeah, but during high school, the latter part of high school years, there were literally too many striking teachers.
Oh yeah?
Yes, I mean, teachers were striking like almost every month they were on strike. So I said, no, I don't think I can go into the teaching career. I mean, too much striking is going on, which means that teachers are having money problems and so on. So I said, I want to go somewhere where I can make some money, you know. So I decided towards the end of high school, I was going to switch from teaching to pharmacy. But when I tried to make the switch, it fell through, it didn't work. And then at the last minute, someone spoke to me about Michael Teachers College, and I ended up at Michael Teachers College, and it was a phenomenal experience. The only thing about it, you have some persons who are naturally bright in the sense that they can sit and listen to someone and they just capture everything.
Yeah, they remember everything.
Yes.
But, you know,
they don't need to study.
They have to be studying so
Yes.
the night before the exam.
Yes.
They really,
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking.
Or they can sit in a study group and listen to persons talk, they just grab everything and they just.
There are some people like that.
Yes, I'm not a naturally bright person. I have to work hard.
Really?
Yes, yes, yes. I have to work hard. Not only do I have to work hard, I can't just take up a book and read. I have to write, find questions to answer, write, and so on. So I was not that naturally smart person. And
Me too, though, for studying.
yeah, I should have done my diploma at that time in 3 years, and it took me 5 years to finish my diploma. I failed my core area, which was chemistry, physics, biology, in Teachers College at the end of the time.
Wow.
And one of the reasons for failing those core areas was how I saw myself. I didn't see myself as much. Mark you in terms of I had a low self-esteem. Yes. Yes, very low self-esteem, and it played out itself in the choice in every area of my life, including how I did in high school. But the reason for having that low self-esteem is how we spoke to each other as a family. My brothers were rough. As the eldest one, I was very thin. And they would joke about me all the time. They'd put me under their arms like a handbag sometimes and run with me.
We can laugh about that now.
Things they would say, jokes they would make, but I would laugh and enjoy myself, but I didn't realize that I was internalizing all of that, and I used that experience to define myself. So I had a struggle. I didn't think I was smart because I compared myself with my elder sister, she's one of those naturally bright persons. So it was a lot of struggles I had with myself, and it played out in college where I failed my core, passed the other subject but failed the core. So I had to go back. I started teaching immediately after I finished, but I had to go back for 2 years after that to resit
to get you
those. Yes. So it was really, really hard for me, but the Lord was good. he allowed me to meet some persons when I was in college who played an integral role in who I am today, where they poured into my own life in prayer. They were there to support in terms of my weaknesses, to encourage me. I got involved in church, and I had a church family that was very supportive in who I am, where the Lord just brought me into myself. And it was when I came in to know, appreciating, I could look in the mirror and said, girl, you look nice.
Wow.
You know, I like you.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
It took a while to get there, but when I got there and I could say, I like you.
How long it took you to get there?
It's a gradual process, but I think probably when I was close to 30,
Wow.
I felt, begin to feel comfortable in myself, where I like myself and so on. And I could carry myself the way I feel about myself. And then that made a difference. When I went to do my first degree, I graduated with honors. When I went to do my master's, I graduated with honors as well, because how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, it comes out in the choices you make, it comes out in how you do things, it comes out in every single area of your life, and so on. So sometimes when you find persons who may not like what they see in somebody else, sometimes they need to stop to check themselves to see, is it that I have low self-esteem issues and I'm seeing somebody who is confident and feels good about themselves and then don't like them because of that? Because that was one of my issues. I would compare myself with other young persons and saying, boy, that person is so show off. Not realizing that that person also has their weaknesses and issues. But I had a problem with accepting and liking myself, where I felt uncomfortable around persons who were confident in who they are. So when I came into liking me and enjoying me and so on, and could look in the mirror to say, I like you, it made a complete difference.
Awesome.
In my life.
Awesome.
Complete difference in my life and so on.
That is great. Now, do you get reminded sometime about your past? Because I used to suffer from inferiority complex. For many years.
Yeah.
Probably until my late 40s, and I'm 51 right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't like myself. I wish I looked different. I wish it wasn't dark.
Yes.
I just didn't like myself. And then thought I was over it. And then like sometimes I get reminders, and I find myself sometimes going back to square one. It's like I go back to that old self again. Do you find yourself, or you
going back? No, as a matter of fact, I have to try to keep, according to my husband, I have to try and keep myself down. I think a little bit too much about myself.
I'm good now. But the thing is, sometimes, you be in an environment, you overhear people saying things about you, and then you think you're over it, and then it's, oh my God, not again. They still remind me about this.
Yes.
But I'm reaching a point now where I really don't care. I'm glad you share these stories with our viewers, and I believe it will inspire many people.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do you have any closing remarks?
Just to encourage our young women, because we spoke about the guys at first. Just to encourage our young women out there that don't be hasty as it relates to one choosing a partner and so on. Don't be hasty to allow others to define who you are and so on, and your experiences to define who you are. But it's so important to surround yourself with the right persons. Find that place in terms of where you want to be. Find those people. Find that place where you can get the help, the assistance that you need in order to get to the place where you need to be as individuals, because this is going to make a difference in terms of the choices you make. It's going to make a difference in terms of your own future. I just want to leave you with those words. You are precious, and it's important that you come to realize that and value that man that is in the mirror.
I love it. Thank you. You've been watching a segment with Andrea Plant. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope that you're inspired by these stories. I know I am, and I believe you are as well. And anytime you're feeling down, just watch one of our segments. Watch one of my segments, and I believe that you'll be encouraged. And remember that, you have a purpose. No matter what people say about you, you have a purpose. Find that purpose and pursue it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amen.